true. A simple story. A friend of mine just told me today, texted me today, that two people that she knew went for a test in Wrexham. Car park was full, so they turned back and thought, we'll go another day. And guess what came through the post 2 days later? Can you guess, Mike? Can you guess what the result was?
Was it positive?
2 positives, yeah. That's your first point. Second point, listen to BBC yesterday. They saying that only 300 people a year now are dying of flu. What planet is this? Normally get up to 10 to 20,000. Isn't it obvious there's something not right with these figures? And that a lot of the COVID figures, we can't even believe the death stats anymore. Where have all the flu deaths gone? You understand why there's conspiracy, Mike. Third point, 110 people, the average last week. I thought about that in a population of 70 million. That calculates, this is how I can set it out. 7 Live Aid Wembley 1985 stadiums full of people with 1 person dead for all 7 of those concerts.
Really?
That's what we're in hysteria on at the moment. And final point, are we looking at Europe, looking at the stats? We were told a few weeks ago Spain was the next apocalypse. I've looked at the stats there, and by the way, they've got the strictest masking there. The deaths there have plateaued, not much higher than ours, just about 150 for about the last 10 days.
Right.
But that's not on the TV, is it, or the media? I thank God for what you're doing on your show, because we've got to turn this thing over, Mike.
We do. We really do, because we can't have the entire country going to rack and ruin, people killing themselves, people going into destitution, losing their businesses that they've had for decades, just because of these damn politicians who don't seem to know their elbow from another part of their anatomy. And
the only guy who we can trust, the guy stood next to Boris, he's got a £600,000 share in a vaccine company, and he's the guy scanning out the graphs, and that's not shadows and mirrors. That's fact. That's in the public domain.
Oh, I know.
How can we trust anybody or anything? We need to get back to normal ASAP. Otherwise, we're all going to move to Sweden, Mike.
Ben, you're a very brave man, and you're absolutely right to say all of those things. Ben in Bristol, talking absolute sense here on Talk Radio, because of course we are the home of common sense. Let me talk to Nigel now, whose photographer has been out with the cops last night in the West End, looking around to see what's going on. Nigel, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Well, I'm glad to say I'm going to have to rename this country, not from Great Britain to Bonkers Britain, I'm afraid to say.
Yes.
The country's gone mad. Well, last night, Mike, in the West End, it was a very sad, sorry state. I walked around Oxford Street, Regent Street, Piccadilly, Soho, Leicester Square. The place was, apart from a few people, was desolate. And it's a great pity that our city is dying on its knees. And I'm sorry to say that, but it's true. For those around the country who may not know Soho and that area in Leicester Square, it's a vibrant part of central London. Bars, restaurants, clubs, venues, different things, and shops, of course. And people go out the West End and enjoy themselves. But the West End was desolate. And I was around with out with the police for about an hour and a half, walking around, and they had nothing to do apart from encouraging a few people to sort of, it's time to go home now. Yeah. But there wasn't very many people to send home.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, James Chiaverini said to me today, I don't know if you heard, he runs a restaurant over in Kensington High Street. What's the point of the 10 p.m. curfew now if only people coming in from the same household are going out? Because if you're going home to the same household, what difference does it make what time you go home?
Exactly. And I'm sorry to say this, but we have a mayor of London who is discouraging people from going to the West End. He's making it's going to cost you 15 quid if you go in a car.
Well, don't get me started on him. I mean, this is a man who's now apparently talking about extending the congestion charge zone to basically everything inside of the North Circular and South Circular Road.
Yeah, it's crazy. And what's interesting, Old Compton Street is closed off to traffic, I think, till about 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Well, the police they opened it last night about 10, 15 minutes early to allow traffic to get through and to get some sort of cars in the area. And I think that it's just sad to see a city as vibrant as ours empty. It's like a desert. And, I think the mayor should be encouraging people to come back in, not staying at home. Get these businesses...
Oh, I know. I don't know what they're all so frightened of. You just heard Ben in Bristol, they're giving us the numbers. And the numbers game that we know is certainly not the numbers game that they're working with, it seems to me. Nigel, listen, great to talk to you. Thanks very